The Empire rules the islands with an iron fist. From the dark wastes beyond, demons of chaos surge inward. In Uprising, you and your friends must rise against both of these unstoppable forces. It's a highly rated, brutal, cooperative 4X game for 1 to 4 players set in a fantasy universe, true solo mode included. Winning here means not just surviving, but defeating 2 stronger opponents who also fight each other. Every game is unique with a modular map, 10 asymmetrical factions, 20 different heroes, and nail-biting battles. It's impossible to play the same game twice. If that sounds exciting, check out their campaign on GameFound. Remember, it's not coming to retail, so join the Uprising now.
Hey, everybody. Board Game Geek has a new fun thing to play on YouTube. It's a quiz, and it's all board game related. We just put it up, and it is quiz number 1, and we are really hoping to have more. And so far, the feedback has been great. A lot of people posting their scores in the text areas of that, and it's been a lot of fun to watch. I am Nikki Pontius from Game Night and Board Game Geek, and I am here doing episode 79 of the Board Game Geek podcast, and I am introducing our new host, Amanda Panda.
Hello, everyone. So happy to be here and to do this with you all. This is very exciting for me. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, you're always fun to watch.
Thank you.
I have some questions for the listeners to get to know you, Amanda, if they're not familiar with you already. Are you ready to answer 3 questions?
Absolutely. Excited to do it.
Okay. The first question is the question that all board gamers always ask. What got you into board gaming in the first place? Who, what, why, when, where?
I've always loved board games, even as a child. I remember, getting Monopoly. I had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle board game. I am a only child, so I did play a lot of two-handed solos, try to play some games with friends and family, with babysitters, that type of thing. But I really got into the modern hobby in 2012, especially with Will Wheaton's tabletop episodes and a new board game cafe that opened up near me called the Game House. And so I found a lovely coworker. Her name is Ruby, and she and I went to the Game House from the beginning, from when they opened every single Saturday. And we'd go pull, a couple of games off the shelf, learn it there, play it together. And we really had a great time eating their delicious, delicious pies and their lovely sandwiches that are themed around board games. Unfortunately, that cafe is no longer with us, but that was really how I got into the modern hobby.
Okay, that's cool. Next question. What made you start streaming and being a content provider in the board game arena?
I did some content in my arts and crafts, cooking and stuff. And then when the pandemic happened, I was a moderator for a lot of streamers. Then I saw that my birthday was coming up, and then I saw a lovely human, Matthew Jude, was streaming on his birthday and got some donations. And I don't feel comfortable asking for money for myself, so I decided to stream and raise money for Extra Life, a charity that raises money for the Miracle Network of children's hospitals in North America.
Yeah.
I really set myself up because I had never streamed before, and I decided to do a 18-hour stream.
Wow. Okay.
And I raised over $1,500, but I literally had 1 week. I did one test stream, and I went right into it. I had over 10 different guests on throughout the day. And then there was so many technical issues and stuff, but people stuck with it. It was so much fun that I decided to keep on doing it. I even was at the end, I was like, oh, I gotta keep going. No, I don't, because we raised the money and I can end anytime I wanted. So yeah, my very first stream, was 18 hours. It was for charity. It was so fun. Then the pandemic, I'm quite an extrovert with introverted tendencies. So the streaming really helped me get through the pandemic and meet friends and hang out and play games. So
Sure.
that's what got me into it.
Yeah. Streaming helped us get through the pandemic too. So yeah, because board gaming is such a social thing. To have that be cut off during that time was hard for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah,
all right.
Agreed.
And the last question. I know that you like to travel and you travel as often as you can. I want to know if there are some destinations on your list that you haven't made it to yet, that you want to, like your dream destinations that you haven't gotten to yet.
So many. I mean, I have gone to quite a few. Like I've been to the UK. I've been to a lot of Asian countries. I'm very blessed and lucky that my parents like to travel, especially my mom. So I was able to go along with them on a lot of different trips. I have not gone to Scotland or Ireland yet, so I really want to go there. I have not gone to New Zealand or Australia yet. I've been to Japan, but not to the Tokyo Game Market. So that's one of the things. But yeah, I think I really want to go meet up with friends that I've met through board gaming hobby, through streaming around the world. I'm very excited. My next trip is going to be Essen. I'll be staying with the Losas from Losapalooza and meeting some people that I don't get to meet because they don't get to go to the U.S. conventions. And they are over there in the other side of the pond, other side of the world. So very excited about that. So Nikki, you've been to Essen. Do you have any tips for me for my first trip to Essen? Spiel.
So many tips. I could go on forever and go into so much detail. It was really a different world when I started going back in the early 2000s. And they have definitely changed it to try to be more welcoming to people from other countries. I think they've always welcomed them, but there was always a little bit of like a barrier, and I think they've tried harder to open that barrier and be a little more friendly and have more signage in multiple languages and little things that make a big difference to people who are coming to a country where they don't necessarily speak the language. But my pointers to you is it's huge. And the convention is in multiple buildings they call the Mesa, and there's a building 5 and a building 4 and blah, blah, blah. Find a map, take a picture of it. They actually started using an app. So use the app. It'll really help you find places. As long as you can connect to the internet. That is a little weird because it's a lot of people in one location on the internet. So that might make it hard. That's why I suggest taking a picture because then you can just look at it on your phone. Water. You're going to get dehydrated. I don't care if it's 30 degrees outside or 80 degrees outside. You're going to get dehydrated in that place. So bring a water bottle or whatever. Of course they have water, but it's, I don't know how much water you need to drink, but if you go through multiple bottles of water in a day, you are going to be spending a lot of money. If you have a portable chair, which a lot of people in Germany, the first time I saw this particular one, it's like a stool and it turns down and it turns into like a little disc and it's on a hook and they just boop, boop. And so they can sit down because sitting there is you sit on the ground and you sit when you sit at a game table to play a game, assuming that you can get to a game table and play a game. So water and chair. My other suggestion is the food at the Mesa is okay. They've got food trucks, and some of those food trucks are amazingly really good. The food, however, is spread out all over the place. There's the Galleria that branches 2 or 3 of the buildings to 2 or 3 of the buildings on the other side, and they put a ton of kids' entertainment in there. and it's crowded, but they do have some food stuff in there too. I would suggest not going there unless you get into the halls early in the morning, because they've got this weird donut machine that takes these little donuts that go along a conveyor belt and they dunk in, and they're the best things ever. But it's always crazy crowded there. They have this weird thing that's a curled up potato, like ribboned or curled potato on a stick. And you see people walking around with those all over the place. They let you bring your own food in, which if you're from the States, a lot of places don't let you do that. So you see a lot of families there with their own sandwiches and stuff. And don't be afraid to explore. They have food kiosks in places you wouldn't think there would be, or places you'd think that you weren't even allowed to go. And it took me and the people I went maybe 2 or 3 years to realize that there was like weird outdoor spaces between the buildings that actually had like a schnitzel place or a beer stand or other food. And it's literally like the parking lot between the buildings where all the trucks park. They have food stuff there too, where you can go and eat, but it is not obvious and you kind of have to peek behind doors and stuff. So that's interesting. The other thing is look at the used game stalls. I'm from a generation of gamers that had to translate all the German games anyways. So I don't care if a game is in German. If I can find the rules somewhere else translated, if I can find something that mocks up cards that have German on them or some other language on them, and it's a rare game or it's a game that never made it to the States, it's worth looking at those used stalls. And the crazy thing is you can ask the person, do you have such and such? And they know, and they'll be like, no, we don't have it. Or they'll be like, oh yeah. And they'll walk over here and they'll climb up a ladder and they'll pull some game out. And they're generally in pretty good condition too. I guess gamers, treat their games like priceless gems. So most of them are in pretty good condition.
That's really awesome. And a great place to find those translations, right? Or on the BGG page.
Yes.
For the game.
And that was my outlet back in the day. People, fans, even publishers, when they knew about BGG, would put the rules up in English and all the other languages. Some fan would like make a sheet of paper with all the translations for the cards that you could actually print, cut, and put on the card.
Well, that's really cool.
To help with the game and stuff. The U-Bahn, don't be afraid to use it. Get a ticket though. They actually have people that are dressed in plain clothes that get on the U-Bahn and ask random people for a ticket.
That's so good. Yeah, so the U-Bahn is the subway, right?
Yeah, it's the subway. And the Messe, the place where the convention is at, has 3 stops by the Messe, the U-Bahn stops. One's a little bit far away, but then the last 2 are like either end of the Messe, and the Messe is huge. So figure out where you want to go and then decide which exit you want to take on the U-Bahn to get you closer to where I imagine you're going to walk the whole entire place, yes. But think about where you want to start and end and then get on a U-Bahn accordingly. And parking is a disaster there. Everyone I talk to that has to park at it are like, yeah, don't. If you don't have to, don't do it. And if you do, come super, super early in the morning because they just don't have enough and it fills up real fast. A lot of families are there for the day. That's the other thing about it. It's a different con rather than Gen Con in the States where you stay overnight in a hotel and you're pretty much there for the whole time. This one is they come for the day and then they leave. And the whole town clears out.
Okay.
Except for all the people that are working the con, and all the restaurants can't handle the amount of people.
So Essen is, from what I heard, more of a buying con than a playing con. There's no open gaming in the con. There's no open gaming in the hotels. Mm-hmm. So you are demoing the game to see if you want to buy it. How do people lug around the games they purchased? Do they bring carts? Is it just backpacks? Do they multiple trips to their car? Like, how does that work?
I'm trying to remember if they banned backpacks or not. It used to be backpacks and cart, but people also bring their roller suitcases. It's just like any other kind of con, like Gen Con or whatever, where they've got bags like blah, 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 and they've got a backpack or they've got one of those grocery stroller carts. And then, of course, you see the people who are like dragging their unfortunate kid because the stroller is full of games.
Oh.
But yeah, that's just people just lug everything that they possibly can on their backs. I mean, of course, there are a lot of people that are like, we are here to buy one grown-up game and one game for the children, and the rest we're just going to wander around and look at stuff. But most people that go to board gaming cons are not that kind of people. They want to buy everything new that's there to have. So that's how that's dealt. And to get them home, if you're in the States, a lot of people pack boxes and ship them from the convention home. I know as a BGG person, that was the way it was done for several years.
Okay, good. Because I know like Gen Con does not allow you to bring carts or anything with wheels. So it's good to know that Essen will allow it. Because I know it's much bigger and the aisles are much bigger, even though there's still a lot of people and it's still going to be congested.
When on the busy day, whether it's a Friday or Saturday, it changes from year to year. At one point, you're going to want to just sit back and watch the chaos. Because if you thought the aisles were crowded at Gen Con, wait until a crazy day at Essen. You are going to be blown away.
That's a little terrifying.
Oh, you're going to have fun.
Yes. Thank you so much for those tips. Are you ready to lead your tribe into the unknown? Resources are scarce. Rivals are closing in. And only the most cunning will carve their story into the land. Welcome to Dewan, the brand new strategy game from Space Cowboys. Created by award-winning designers Johan Levitt, the author of Turing Machine, and Johannes Gupi, the author of Faraway, Dewan is a fast-paced Euro-style game of territory control. With a modular board, 4 game-playing variants, and breathtaking artwork, every game is a unique battle for dominance. And here's your chance. Dewan will be available in exclusive pre-release at Essen 2025. A full 3 months before the worldwide launch in January 2026. Be among the very first to discover it, play it, and share your experience with the community. Dewan, the story begins now.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about 5 games we played recently. Now, I am very lucky. I live kind of close to Nikki, so that I get to play with her and Lincoln and record some game night episodes for you all and play some lovely, lovely games and hang out and eat dinner. And it's been so much fun. So we both play a lot of games. At least we try to, right? It's not like we have all the time in the world to play games, but we try to. And it's kind of a perk, right, of being a content creator in this hobby is that for work, we get to have fun and play games.
That's right.
So, Nikki, what is one of the games that you have played recently?
All right. I just wrote a list, and these are not in any kind of order. Like favoritism order, okay? So I'm just going to work from my list. Big Sur is a game that I have played recently and very much enjoy, and that is published by 25th Century Games, and it is 2 to 4 players. And the designer is Mondo Davis. And I really enjoyed it. It's a card game. It is competitive. The art is really pretty on it. And the mechanics in the game, although not completely unique or brand new, were really well implemented into the game. And it's a lot of fun to play. It is a game where you are designing a stretch or stretches of the Highway 1 in California that pretty much runs the length of California. And there's some beautiful scenery in the real life of the one. And I've taken that ride a couple times in my lifetime. And what you're doing is drawing cards, playing them to a strip in front of you. And the fun part of the game is that you can only place to the right or the left of your strip. You can't break it up in the middle or do anything. So once you have played those cards into those spaces, they don't move. You are using cards as the commodity to build more strips. So it's one of those games where, do I want to hold on to this card to put into my highway, or do I want to throw away this card and not use it in my highway? And will I get something that replaces it? Maybe more affordable, maybe not. The other interesting thing about the game is that when you do discard a card to pay for something, you keep your own discard pile in front of you. And the back of that discard, whichever discard's on the top of the pile, can be used once for a good type to put down help put down another piece of your highway. So there's a lot of fun little mechanics in there. And building the stretches of the highway, you're making sets of 3, I believe it is. And they have icons for the type of scenery you're building. And you have to do sets of 3 or more for it to qualify to be a stretch, which falls into how it scores at the end of the game. And also there are some super duper cards that you can draw from only if you have completed a stretch of that specific type. And it'll add a little bit more scoring possibility at the end of the game. Or it can add a little more flexibility on how you spend your cards to put down another section of the road. And I just found the game really, really nice, really fun, easy mechanic, clever to play correctly.
Yeah. With us living in California, it's really like, oh, this is like our game, you know? We're constantly on highways. And Paula Deming actually introduced and taught me for my first play, and it was so much fun. I was like, I need to get a copy right away because I love that, you know, it's so beautiful. There's a little bit of a drafting. There's a little bit of engine building. It's such a great little card game, but it does take up some room on the table. So
that's true.
Just be aware of that.
It certainly does, because your stretches are as long as you can make them.
Yep.
So yeah, I have found that I am enjoying the 25th Century Game Publisher, their games. Couple years in now. I have found, at least the games I've picked up from them, they're good. They are good games. I haven't had a dud. I should say I haven't played all of their games, but the ones I have decided to play have been really good games.
Yes, agreed.
And that's Big Sur from 25th Century Games.
Awesome. So the game I recently played is Endeavor Deep Sea. It's for 1 to 4 players, but there is a 5-player expansion. It's designed by, now I am bad at pronunciation of names, so probably will mess this up, so apologies in advance on all the lovely designers and publishers in here. But Endeavor Deep Sea is designed by Carl de Visser and Gerard Gray, I do believe, published by Burnt Island Games and the Grand Gamers Guild. It has won a lot of lovely awards, and I have not played the precursor to this game, but I really enjoy Endeavor Deep Sea. There's multiple missions to be had. I recently played mission number 8, which is quite interesting because the goals that are on the mission card, there's 2 options for each of the goals, and whoever gets to the little area on the impact board gets to decide which way it's going to get scored. So it really it causes a lot of oh, what's going to happen here? I think, you're going to be there. Can I get in there next and choose it? So it's a lot of uncertainty with this mission. But still, I thought it was a lot of fun. What Endeavor Deep Sea is you are, I guess, a captain of like a vessel, and you have multiple vessels going out. You're going to explore the sea with using sonar. It's kind of like an action selection with a little bit of a kind of an engine builder. It's very interesting. I love the iconography in this game. On your player board, it literally tells you the steps to go. First, you will always be getting a new specialist that gives you a new action or option for actions to do. And it will help you increase the actions that you already have. So like you can increase the orange icons, which will get you better specialists. Or then the next one, I do believe, is the green, which basically tells you how many action discs you can have that you take from your supply and put in your board. Then it's the yellow, which is interesting because this is how many action discs you take off of the specialist that you've used last round and put it into your board to use this round, but also frees up the action. So sometimes if you don't increase that yellow track, then you won't be able to, use that specialist again. And then the last track is the blue track, which is basically how you move around, how many times you can move around, how deep you can get, and how you get more subs out. Every game is going to be a little different based on the mission, based on how the different sections of the ocean that you will see or set up and explore. You can do different actions, which include moving, sonar, which helps you put out and explore deeper into the ocean. You have the journaling, which you're going to journal about what you've seen. That's how you get to upgrade your specialist. You might give yourself points and increases on the different tracks, but you also might give everybody else something as well. Then there is research, where you're going to be looking at helping the sea turtles and the wildlife, and you have to use DNA to research and journal, and then you get a little something. But every time you have these different boards, some of them will have like little icons between two action spots. And so then when you or someone else, you can kind of, co-op and get a little something when you both, put an action disc on either side. Now, there is a competitive and a cooperative way to play this. I like the competitive way because the cooperative way is very, very hard. And usually I like to teach new players with the cooperative side, but in this game, I would say do not teach new players the cooperative game. Start out with the competitive game. If you and your group play this a lot and you know it very well, then try the cooperative game. I know they have a Kickstarter that's going on or just finished that has new ways to do the cooperative game. So I'm interested in seeing that. Have you played this game before?
Yes, I have. I really like it. I actually played it in an earlier prototype version. And then we actually filmed a game night of this game. And I've only played it the competitive way. Haven't tried the co-op. I did very much enjoy it, and I enjoyed that the chaining mechanism where two of you are kind of working on the same thing together. It didn't end up helping me at all because the person I was trying to get to contribute was not having it. But I liked that was there in the game. There was a little interaction there with like real interaction with another player. And I felt like the game was pretty interactive with the other players. You're not just off on your own board doing stuff.
Yeah. And there's not really blocking in terms of like worker placement blocking, but there is where you can't pull off enough discs to do more actions, that type of thing. But that was Endeavor Deep Sea, published by Bird Island Games and the Grand Gamer Guild. What's the next game you have for us, Nikki?
Surprise! This surprised me. I have Finspan on my list.
Oh, interesting.
I know. And that is a 1 to 5 player game, and it is by Stonemaier Games. And the designers were David Gordon and Michael O'Connell. I've only played Wingspan, the original version, none of the expansions. And while I enjoyed it and loved the bird images. And this is going off of memory, so maybe some of this isn't 100% correct. It seemed confusing when I learned it the first time.
Interesting.
I have now played Finspan, and it was so easy to learn. So, obvious what to do and how everything worked. And to be honest with you, when they said Finspan, I'm like, fish? I don't care about fish. I mean, okay, I like animals. I like all animals. I like fish too, but if I'm going to sit down and play a game, I would have thought that Wormspan would have been the one for me.
Dragons.
I haven't gotten that one to the table, but I played this one and I really ended up enjoying it. And I ended up liking reading about the fish facts. And the funny thing is we're talking about Endeavor. This is another ocean game where you are going deeper and deeper down into the ocean. And there are fish that can only go on certain levels of the ocean. It's broken up into 3 levels. And the first time you get to the bottom level of the ocean in one of the 3 columns, I believe it is, you unlock a little bit of an extra action. It is also a game that has action cubes, so you are limited to the amount of action cubes you have to make things happen in your game. And I was very pleasantly surprised by this game.
That's awesome. I have not played Finspan yet. I enjoy Wingspan, have not played Wormspan yet. I've heard a lot of good things about both, so very interested in that. And that's Finspan by Stonemaier Games. Now, adjacent to the world of the ocean is a river.
Okay, we're going all.
I'm trying to transition in.
Well, Big Sur, is along some of the ocean too, so this is all water here.
This is all water. We promise you, this is not going to be a water themed list. We do just like games that have water in them. The next game that I played recently is an actual prototype. So it is River Market. Now, both of us do some playtesting, and we do prototypes and pre-production games. But River Market is for 1 to 4 players, published by Kids Table Board Gaming, or KTBG, and designed by Roberta Taylor, who has done this whole line of games, cozy, cute, wonderful games by KTBG. They are started with Creature Comforts, and then it was Meeple Valley, and now we have River Market. And it has the same great looking art, same cozy feel about, gathering goods, and, but this one's very interesting in that the cards are multi-use. So you can use it to move around the market, right? That is along this lovely river to get goods or to exchange different goods, or to exchange it for money or for other goods. Or you can hire employees that give you bonuses. You can also build, the market stalls yourself. And when other people use your stalls, then you get a little something at the same time. Very cute, quick playing. Builds a beautiful tableau in the middle of your table. It has this kind of rondelle thing where you're moving around the circle of market stalls. And when you build it, you only build on the outside 4 spots, and you can only move in one direction. So the movement's very interesting, but you can have there's this ability to rush, and you can move anywhere if you can get those cards. It's really cute. I'm excited to see this come out from KTBG. I look forward to Roberta Taylor's designs every single time. And it is a prototype, so you'll have to wait a little while to see it come out. But I'm very excited for this one. Very cute. A lovely, lovely game. That is River Market from KTBG.
My other game is Jungo, and that is a 2 to 5 player game by Happy Camper Games. It is an implementation of another game. And Nana Toridori actually is an implementation of the same kind of idea. I haven't played that one. And that one is also a kids' table game. So interesting. The designer is Toshiki Areo. And I think the original game it was from is Hayachi Train or something like that. This version of the game, it's a card game. It's competitive. It's a card shedding game. It's super cute. Really like this one's got these bright colored monkeys on black background cards. And what's interesting about this game, again, although not brand new mechanic, I still find these mechanics very interesting, is you get your hand of cards and it's going to be a huge hand and you do not organize them in your hand. In order to play cards down to the table, you have to play a higher number of physical number on the cards and a higher number of cards in your hand. But if you have a 2 on the left-hand side of your hand of cards and you have the other 2, let's say in the middle, and there are 3 cards in between that, you can't play the 2s as a set. You could choose the 2 from the middle and play it, but that other 2 would still stay in your hand. So you're manipulating your hand of cards to have beatable hands when you place them down to the table. So I might want to try to get rid of the 2 cards that are breaking up my number 2 cards so that then they are next to each other in my hand so I can play them as a set of 2 cards to potentially beat whatever the other player has played. And you do want to get rid of cards from your hand, and the first person who manages to do that is going to win that round. You play several rounds. I have been playing it with however many players there are in the game, so everybody gets a chance to go first. I really like when you can't mess with your cards. An older game, which a lot of people have heard of, is Bonanza. And that is close to the same mechanic. You get a big hand of cards. You cannot reorganize them in your hand. But in Bonanza, you can only be taking from one side of your hand. So if I'm starting to take from this side of my hand, that's all that I'm going to be taking from. So the difference with this mechanic is that you can play from anything in your hand. Just in order to get a beatable thing to put down on the table, you have to have the cards next to each other. And there are a few cards in the deck that are double numbers that can help you out. And when you play that, you announce which number it is that you're playing it, and you are stuck to that number until it turns into a new card in your hand, and then you can play it however you want. And it's a fun game. There's a lot of laughing. There's a lot of, I can't believe you did that. How did you manage to collect 5 7s? It's fun. And I think with the people you play with, it could get pretty rowdy or it could be extremely serious. It's just how you want to play the game. Yeah. And I just like it.
And what's really interesting is that it's a shedding game, but you can choose to take the cards that you beat into your hand, and then you can place it anywhere in your hand, which might make your hand better, or you can just discard. And when you can't do anything, you just take a card. And you can put that anywhere into your hand. But Jungo is by Happy Camper is the monkey themed. Nanatori Dory, that is distributed by Kids Table Board Gaming, is a bird themed. So I do believe they're very similar games. I have not played Jungo yet. So you played Jungo, I played Nanatori Dory.
Okay.
I don't know what the difference is.
I don't either. I would like to know. Now I do have Nanatori Dory, and I do want to look at it, and I do want to play it, because I want to find out what the differences are. And I like kid table board gaming games, but I hadn't realized that it was the Happy Camper version, the Jungo version, was the same game. Those were both games on my list to learn and to play and to maybe do for game night. And I chose the Jungo because I like the monkeys on the cover, but I knew I was going to get to Nanatori Dory eventually. I'm hoping there's enough difference so that it
You can have both.
Yes, I can say like, it's enough different. We should do it.
And that is Jungo by Happy Camper and Anna Toridori by Kids Table Board Gaming. Now, another beautiful card game that I played recently is Citizens of the Spark for 1 to 5 players, designed by Philip Dewberry, published by Thunderwork Games. It is a open-handed card game, a little bit of it's drafting, a little bit of engine building, a little bit of follow. So it's quite interesting, and it has like multiple decks. So you can choose which characters to put into the game, and they can be different every time. You can do it randomized. They do have sets depending on how you like to play. If you like to play more nice, if you like to be more competitive, if you like to play more mean, they have different sets that you can, choose from and that they suggest. On your turn, basically, you're just going to take one of the rows of 3 cards that's on the market. If you don't take the 2 rows that you don't take, you put a spark on there. Sparks are the name of the game. You want the points for the sparks. And then you're going to put the 3 cards into your tableau. You are going to stack them by the different characters, and each character has a special ability. Then you're going to choose one of the characters and do that ability. Now, the ability can change based on how many copies of that character you have. And so you're going to be able to see what people are going for. Some characters, you'll get sparks dependent on what other people have. Some characters, you have sparks depending on what you have. Some characters get you more characters or cards. Some characters, defend against attacking by other people. But once you choose a character, you announce it, you do it, then anyone else who has that character can follow and do the same thing on your turn. And they do it in turn order. And then the next person's turn will be able to, draft and play. It's very quick and simple, but my goodness, it is so much fun. And it is really hilarious when you do it random because you don't know what you're getting and you're like, oh, we're going to just have to see how this works, right? Now, have you played this one?
I have not.
I think it's going to be a good one for game night. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Beautiful art. Anthropomorphic animals, but still, I like the look of it. And it's been very fun to play with different people. I mean, it does go 1 to 5 players. I do believe it plays better at the higher player counts, 3 or 4. But you can do it 2 player. You can do it 3 player. So that is Citizens of the Spark, published by Thunderwork Games.
My next game, I have nothing to say about that one because I haven't played it.
But you will.
I know. If you like it's gonna get over here eventually. I've got the Peak Team Rangers. It is a game for 1 to 5 players. It is done by Madigo, and it is a Scott Alms game, which I have found a lot of his games I enjoy. So it is a lot of fun. It is a team game. There are 5 kind of scenarios to the game. The first 2 are kind of like teach you the game. So the very first one is extremely simple. When I played it, we skipped 1 and we went to the scenario 2, which was the second of the learning games. And each of the scenarios puts in a new element that you as a team are going to have to deal with. And the idea is that you are park rangers and you are all working together during the park season to repair issues in the park, different types of things, and to catalog the animals that you see in the park. And there's all kinds of things, and you're all working together to take this trail to that trail to this trail to complete this goal. We all have our own goals that are set up on the board, and we have to make it to our own goals. But other players can help each other get to where they need to be by trading cards and various other things that you can do in the game to help each other out. On the side of the board, there is a list of things that you have to accomplish in each round, a list of a certain number of cards based on number of players. So that messes with the difficulty level also that you can mess around with. And if you don't complete these missions, I guess I'm going to say, or problems in the park or whatever it happens to be, or catalog this certain animal, the leftover ones will go down to the next round of play. So instead of having 4 or 5 cards you have to complete, you now have to complete 6 or 7 cards in that round to do that. If you don't complete a round of problems, I think if you have 4 cards left over that have not been dealt with, you lose the game. And there are other ways to lose the game. That isn't the only way. But what I found interesting was that round, if there are cards 3 or less that you haven't completed, they don't just go away. No, it is now a problem for another round of play, another day. And that was very interesting. And then I did play a level, I think we went to a level 3 of that game also. I haven't gone any further. And that level 3 starts to add special abilities for each of the characters that are randomized, I believe, at the beginning of the game. And those are just more things to help you move around the board, because guess what? There are more problems that you have to deal with. So hopefully you can move around the board better. And fires break out and roads get blocked, and you're spending cards to move for walking. You're spending cards to move down the river, and you kind of have to have the specific card type for the path or the road or whatever it is you're going to take. So that's sort of puzzly figuring out, well, if you give me your 3 bloody blahs, I always say bloody blah and it drives people crazy. Give me your 3 walking shoes so I can take this path.
Okay.
That would be great. But you have to meet up in order to do that, to pass cards around. The other thing is a split of cards at the beginning of each round. So you're going to get a hand of cards, and guess what? They may be perfect for you, but you keep none of them. You give an even number, if you can, of cards to the player to your right and your left. And those players are also dividing their cards. And so many times that I've played the game, because I've played it several times now, you do get a hand of cards and you're like, why can't I keep 2 of these? I would have everything solved, but you have to pass them to other players. So that is very interesting, and it keeps you paying attention to what your other players are doing, because it is a team game, and trying to give them what they need to complete their missions. So it keeps the interaction going. And like nowadays with all co-op games, when it is your turn, you are the ultimate say in that, which is so funny, because I remember when that was not a rule written in co-op games. And now every co-op game I look at has that as a rule. So clearly it wasn't just my game group that had some issues. It was many game groups that had some issues with that. So I really enjoyed the game, and I was, again, surprised by that one, because I wasn't sure I was going to like it. So that was Peak Team Rangers by Matago.
I'm glad both of us do enjoy cooperative games. I do have some friends that will not play cooperative games, but I did get to play one of my favorite cooperative games that I need to get into my collection. That is Bomb Busters for 2 to 5 players, designed by Hisashi Hayashi, I do believe, published by Pegasus Spiel. And this one I think is best at 4. Now you can play at lower player counts or at 5. At 3 players, 1 person will be the captain and have 2 trays of the numbers or the wires that you're supposed to cut. But this is one of those fun cooperative games that are deduction, and then it will wrap up. It's kind of a campaign. and it plays a little differently depending on where you're at. And I just want to play more of it because I've gotten towards, I think we're on like maybe 10 or 12, and I can't get further because you always have to keep on, you have to find someone else that have played before in order to go further, or else you have to, go back to some of the tutorials so people understand. But basically, all you're doing is kind of doing a Go Fish style thing where you're looking at someone else, you're only seeing the backside. You get one little hint, as in, oh, this is definitely a number, and everyone orders their wires from low to high in the same direction. There are some yellow wires and some red wires that you do not want to cut until the very end. And you're basically pointing at a wire on their little tray and be like, is this a 5? And you have to have a 5 as well. If they say yes, you both can put it out, and you have done 2 out of the 4 5s that are in there. And if there's a 5 in the cards that give you special abilities, then you can say, oh, this is now active and we can use it once per game. If someone has already cut the 5s and you have both 5s, you can just put those out. And trying to basically find all the numbers of, I think it's 1 through 10, without cutting the yellows and the reds, which are in between numbers. I think the yellows are like 0.2 or something, and the reds are like 0.5. And you're trying to do that while, navigating, deducing what everyone has and using the special abilities. Everyone gets one card that allows them to say, I think it's like between these 2 wires, is it this number? And it's very interesting to play. There's different rules, slightly different rules from game to game, but it's been so fun. I really love deduction games. So this is one that I wish I can get to the table more and I can play more with 4 players especially.
I agree with you on that. I don't have it on my list, but I did enjoy that game an awful lot. And I would like to get further up the levels on it as well. Yeah, I found it really, really fun. The first time I played it, I think maybe we didn't have all the rules correct and it was very difficult. The next time we played it, I was like, why did I have a problem with this game? I'm not saying it's easy and not fun. The rules, it made more sense to play it and you could figure it out. But I would love to go higher into what they add to it.
Absolutely, yeah. That is Bomb Busters, published by Pegasus Spiel. Now, you also have another co-op game on your list.
I do. I enjoy co-op games. I like competitive too. What I don't enjoy are the take that's, because you have to be playing with the right people. I have been in too many situations where the take that games have been not fun at all because someone is just too serious about it.
Or focused on one person and not like spreading the take that.
I spread the take that around. I don't just focus on one person. So I have been told that I'm breaking a game when I play that way, but I'm like, you know what? I am not going to just pick on one person. That's not the way I play them, and it's not fun.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times these types of games want you to hit the leader, right?
Yes,
but that also could kingmake, which means that the second place will definitely win when everyone keeps hitting the leader. And so that also kind of isn't fun. But I agree with you. Like, I'd much rather not be mean in a game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I have played some take that's where they have actually done some great rules so that the game doesn't turn into let's catch the leader. I think those take an extraordinary game designer to do, because most take that's devolve into let's get the leader. And then the game goes on forever and you're like, when is this going to end? And, whatever. Anyways, off of my channel.
It has to be very interesting. I think a lot of take that's that are quick is, better, like, because you don't feel like you're bullying and you don't feel like you're being bullied, right?
Right.
So quick, knock them out games are fine, take that games. But when it gets too long, doesn't feel good, right? So,
Right.
but that's why we both really like cooperative games. Even though they're really hard, like this next game that you're going to talk about.
Yes, for the last game on my list, I put Lord of the Rings, Fate of the Fellowship. That is a 1 to 5 player game published by Z-Man Games, and Matt Leacock did that game. I have played a lot. Very, very early prototype, then another close to almost done prototype, and then the real game several times. Because we had the game and we had a lot of friends who were like, can you please play this game with us? Can you teach us this game? So I have played the very first scenario a lot, a lot. It is a very good implementation of the pandemic system. I have played with people that wanted to play it just because it is Lord of the Rings, but they are tired of pandemic. And I know that that is a thing. And those people very much enjoyed it and were just like, it did not feel like I was playing a throw the pandemic mechanism onto the Lord of the Rings theme to get me to buy another pandemic game. They were very impressed by it and really did enjoy it. And there are a whole bunch of scenarios. There are a whole bunch of characters that you can choose to play. There are 2 or 3 characters that come into the game only under special circumstances or special scenarios. It is neat. The Nazgul, the little Nazgul sculpts are really cool. And they're on these little tall acrylic. Well, there's like 3 heights of them. And they move around the board causing all kinds of trouble. But unlike pandemic, the disease will not stay in the area that it started in. If you want to equate the Nazgul to the disease, sort of, but the Nazgul are going to fly around the board and they're always chasing after the ring. And Frodo always has the ring, so they're always chasing after Frodo. So they might start at Mount Doom, but they are going to go here, and then 1 or 2 will break off from the group and go there. It's not going to adjacent or random cards. It's going to wherever Frodo happens to be. The character abilities all are interesting. They all have special abilities. One of the characters is the only characters that can actually shoot down and remove Nazgul from the game. All the other effects are just like calling them back to Mount Doom or pulling them away. But this one character is the only one that can actually shoot them down and get rid of them. But it has to be under extremely specific circumstances. So that makes all of it really neat. And the other ones are very good too. And there's more movement for some, less movement for others, all of those sorts of things that you see in other games. But it's almost like they really tried to make their special abilities really work with who and what they were from the stories, instead of just saying, well, give this person this thing or that thing. It works with the theming from the books. The interesting mechanic of this game is, while you do have the wonderful card mechanic from all the pandemics where the first several cards will keep coming up over and over again under, again, circumstances, the deck itself has 2 different card backs. The banner with a crow on it, and then there's a flag with a bunch of orcs around it or something like that. And so when you take the cards and you turn over this one and you're going to do this one, the back of the card from the draw deck is telling you what you're either going to do, the top of the card or the bottom of the card. So what happens then is when you take those cards and you have to shuffle them back into the top of the deck, the next time that card comes up, it might be that you're doing the bottom half of the card instead of the top half of the card. So it changes up that mechanic of, oh, I know we haven't pulled, New Orleans yet, and we know New Orleans is in the top half of the deck. Well, in this game, you know that the New Orleans card is in there, but you don't know if you're going to be doing the top half of the card or the bottom half of the card. And when we saw that in the prototype, it was there very early on. And I was just blown away by that mechanic, because now you're so focused on the game and you're so focused on what the card is telling you to do. You're not necessarily paying attention to the part of the card that you didn't have to deal with, that when it comes up again, you're totally surprised because you weren't paying attention to the bottom half of the card.
Yeah.
There's also some other interesting things that you're dealing with Sauron and Saruman in different ways, which is certainly something that was not in Pandemic. And some of the things that you have to do, like take out the tower, Saruman's tower. I read the books. I don't know the two of those guys. I get them all confused. And there are also orcs running around the board. And there are also things that the game gives you that you are trying to complete in order to get to the Mount Doom and destroy the ring. You have to do a certain number of those things before you can feasibly try to throw the ring into the lava. So I found it very fun, and I really want to play the other scenarios. That's not to say if a new person says, I want to play this game and we have to start at scenario 1 again. That's not to say I wouldn't do it, because I would, but I would like to see more of the game.
Yeah. And each scenario has like multiple missions and then an ultimate mission. So the first scenario, you have 3 missions, and then you have the ultimate mission of chucking the ring into into Mount Doom. Now, I thought that what was really interesting that's really different from regular Pandemic is you have 2 characters or 2 sets of characters, because Frodo and Sam is its own set, right? And Merry and Pippin is its own set. So you have those 2 sets, and one is going to be having 3 actions or 4 actions, and one's going to have 1 action, and you choose which is which.
Yes.
Which is very interesting.
And you cannot break those actions up. Too.
Yeah. You
Makes
cannot
it
break
really
them up.
hard.
Yeah. This is I love Pandemic. This is one of the hardest Pandemics. And I have also played it multiple times. I've played it solo. I've played it with multiplayer, but I cannot beat this game. I am still trying to play it so that I can beat this game. I think maybe 3 players might be the sweet spot for us to actually get this done. But yeah, I'm like, how do I do this?
I have played it 3 players twice. And we were this close. And we were like looking into the lava thing, and then something happened and done. So I don't know. Even with 3 players, I think it's not necessarily guaranteed.
Z-Man did a great job on the production of this game, not only with the Nazguls. There's also a dice tower that comes apart in 3 very easy, sections. You put it together once, it goes apart in 3 sections, fits in the box, and it's very easy to put back together. It's gorgeous on the table as well. And this really does feel like you are in Lord of the Rings, Merry and Pippin will come together with Frodo and Sam, and they will leave, just like in the books. Gandalf might run around by himself, but he will help out as well. And Legolas is going to be trying to hit people, but also, maybe working with other elves. And you have the peoples of Middle-earth and stuff. So, I really enjoyed this game as well. Yeah. But I'm still on a mission to actually win.
Well, you got to come over and play it with us, and we'll try to do it and actually win. But I wanted to say that the dice tower, like you were talking about, okay, I'm the one that put the dice tower together for the game when we played it, and I was blown away that there are 3 pages on how to put that dice tower together, and then the 4th page is the parts that you take apart so that it fits back in the box. Yeah. But I was blown away with 4 pages of putting a dice tower away. I mean, I put it together and it was fun and all of that, but I was just like, wow. This is a cardboard dice tower, and it's like 3 pages to put it together.
But it's kind of like Lego. Lego sets have that booklet, but it's really easy, right? All the pieces are numbered, so you could just match 1 to 1, 2 to 2, which makes it very easy to see what piece you need and where it needs to fit. And I love that it has, how you take it apart, where you put it. into the box and stuff like that. So that's the Lord of the Rings Fate of the Fellowship from Z-Man Games.
Yep.
And for my last game, it is not a co-op. It's very much a competitive game. It is Mythical Dice for 3 to 6 players. It's designed by Manfred Rindel, I think. I apologize. Published by Plate and Yellow Games, distributed in the US by Hachette Games.
Okay.
Now, this in other countries is sometimes called Skull King, the dice game, because it's literally Skull King dice game. It is a trick-taking game with dice. And it has that whole thing with Skull King where you start out with only 1 die, and then the round 2 you'll have 2, all the way to round 7 you'll have 7 dice. And like in Skull King, you will bet on how many tricks you can win in the beginning of every hand. And for Mythical Dice, you will go Minotaur, and then you'll show with fingers how many tricks you can win. The leader will go ahead and take a die and roll it. And so you must follow the color of dice. There's 4 different colored dice, but there's also 3 special dice. Just like in Skull King, there's 3, I think it's like the mermaid and the Skull King, while there's different suits. And those you don't have to follow. Even if you have the colored dice, you can use the special dice. The colored dice have different numbers on it, and the lovely little player screen that you have has all the dice faces on there for you. Like the red dice is the most powerful colored dice, while the gray is the least powerful colored dice. And so you kind of don't know what's going to happen. Like you can be like, okay, so they're put out yellow. I can follow and hopefully don't lose, or I can just put out one of my special ones and hopefully win. But even the special ones have a way of losing. And if like one special dice can beat a different special dice, can even give you extra points. If you meet your bet, you get, I think, 10 points per bet per trick that you won. If you missed your bet, you lose 10 points. And just like in Skull King, if you bet 0, then you get points equal to the number of rounds. So if you're in the first round, you get 10. If you're in the last round, you get 70 points. Very fun, quick to play, really luck heavy. I think more luck heavy than Skull King because it is dice, but it is still quite fun, especially if you do like trick-taking games. But that is Mythical Dice. Have you played this one?
I have not. Or I have, but a very long time in the Skull King. Yeah. Oh my gosh, so long ago. I just everything you said sounded brand new to me. So there you go.
But you've played Skull King, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Long time ago.
Yeah. And Skull King is a great game. It's a card game, trick-taking with a lot of special powers. So if you like trick-taking, try either of them. Mythical Dice, published by Plate and Yellow, distributed by Hachette Games. So that is episode number
79.
79. Wow. I cannot wait until there's episode 100 of the BGG Podcast.
Sure.
That's going to be hopefully we're going to do something really special about it. And this has been so much fun. Thank you, Nikki, for joining me on this episode. Where can everyone find you next? What are you doing?
Well, most everything I do is game night stuff. So it's almost up to Lincoln which game night episode is going to come out next week. And I don't know, but you can always find me on game night. I am actually the one person that has been on every single game night. And now it has become a thing. So even if I don't want to be on a game night, which, I'm tired or whatever, I have to be on game night because I can't give that up. It's been 13 years of game night and I have been on every single episode.
Lincoln too. Yeah. Lincoln has to be on every single episode.
He does, but there's a couple episodes very, very early on where he was not in the episode.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm really it. And then like I said at the beginning of this, we created a new quiz and I'm the person doing the the quiz graphics and all of that kind of stuff. And so you can find me doing those.
That's awesome. Yeah, you do a lot of behind the scenes stuff for BGG
Right.
as well. Also, if you're ever at any of the BGG cons,
Yes.
you usually can find Nikki there, along with Lincoln.
Yeah, we wander. And we help any of the special guests that BGG Con has. We'll be with them, showing them where to eat and all of that kind of stuff. So we like to show people the best food places when we're in Dallas.
Very important.
With the head of BGGs. And where are you going to be in the world?
I primarily am a live board game streamer. I'm on Twitch and YouTube. I do live playthroughs. I do unboxings. I do interviews, and I play with guests or solo. I'm also part of the Tabletop Live Network and Tabletop After Dark Twitch marathons. And on YouTube, I'm also part of Our Family Play Game Voices and their Kickstarter preview team. And you'll see Our Family Plays Games merch in the BGG store, along with on the YouTube channel. I'm also on the 5x podcast, and I am on the board of the Rose Gauntlet Foundation, which means you get to see me at certain cons throughout the year. The big one is Gen Con. I help put on the BIPOC Lounge at Gen Con. Yeah. If you're a Twitch or YouTube user, please join me. I stream 4 times a week when I'm in town and not at a convention. Right. And come chat and check out the games that I'm playing. If you're at a con, please come and say hi to both of us. All of us, we would love to say hi to you and chit chat. And maybe, which is very rarely, we have time for a game. We would love to play a game with you as well.
Exactly. You can also find a list of all the streams. Amanda, one of them, who contributes to the Board Game Geek live stream page, and it's like if you remember TV guides, it's like a TV guide of what's streaming today and where and when and all the links. And we have a lot of streamers that just email us and let us know what they're doing, and we add it onto a page in BGG, and it can be on the front page of BGG, and also you can click through if you prefer to watch the stream on whatever platform they happen to be streaming on. So it's a really good resource if you're stuck on your computer all day long doing work and you want to watch streams.
Absolutely. And all the links will be in the comments on the BGG page or in the description of this podcast. Thank you once again for listening. I'm Amanda, and there's my guest,
Nikki from Game Night. And Amanda, I wish you all the luck with this podcast.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody. You've been listening to the Board Game Geek podcast, produced and edited by Amanda Wong. Be sure to visit us on the web at boardgamegeek.com. You can also find us on YouTube, X, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok under Board Game Geek. At Twitch, we are under Board Game Geek TV. And you can reach us by email via podcast@boardgamegeek.com. Thanks for listening and happy gaming.